Hey there folks, and welcome back to the Gamer's Grotto. When we last played the Atari 50th Anniversary Collection, we finished off with Adventure. This was a game that inspired the Colossal Cave game, which in turn inspired Roberta Williams and Ken Williams to create Sierra Online back in the early 90s. Well, I guess 80s. 79? Something like that. 79, 80. Anyway, let's continue where we last left off 2 days ago and play some more of the Atari 50th Anniversary Celebration Collection. So we've done all of this, so I think we're next over to Dodge 'em. So let's continue on with this. Dodge 'em, considered to be one of the most fast-paced and exciting games on the VCS. Dodge 'em was programmed by Carla Meninsky, who would later create Warlords and Star Raiders for the VCS. It includes both single and multiplayer modes. Platform Atari 2600, release year 1980. In Dodge 'em, cars drive in opposite directions, switching between concentric lanes in a circular track. Programmed by Carla Meninsky. Okay, well, I get the concept of this. It seems kind of like it's almost like a take on Pac-Man versus dodging cars. Kind of weird. Yeah, not sure what I think of this one. But that was Dodge 'em. All right. Programming the VCS is hard. The designers of the VCS thought it would be obsolete quickly. After all, it was only intended to play Tank and Pong. 4 years later, it was more popular than ever, and game designers had to keep squeezing more out of it. In this video, several game designers discuss why Atari VCS programming was so uniquely challenging. Inside the VCS. The circuit board inside the VCS shows that it was a very simple computer design. The three major chips on the board are 1. The Riot chip, which includes the system's 128 bytes of RAM. 2. The 8-bit Central Processing Unit, or CPU. And 3. The Custom Television Interface Adapter, or TIA chip. Television Interface Adapter. The TIA was the secret sauce of the VCS, making it unique even among other video game systems of the time. Instead of drawing an entire screen at once, it drew the graphics on the TV line by line. This was a cost-saving measure, but it allowed clever programmers to pull off incredible tricks. Alright, so we're just going to watch this video now, and the video on programming the VCS was hard. So let's hop right into this.
So one of the first questions they asked me at Atari was, what do you want to work on? So I just said to him, I said, what's the dirtiest, most basic elemental system that you have? And he goes, oh, well, that's the VCS. And I said, well, that's where I want to start.
I mean, the constraints on the programmers were worse than I ever even imagined were possible.
2600 doesn't draw a screen. It doesn't draw anything. What it does is it has these little logic devices, these counters and shift registers that say, this is the start of the screen, this is the left side of the screen. The electron beam is moving to the right. I'm going to count. I know how fast the electron beam is moving. I'm going to count until the electron beam is somewhere on the screen, and then I'm going to change the color on the screen for a little itsy bit.
There's only one console where you have to think about the electron gun moving across the screen and what machine cycle you're on and when you can show stuff on the screen. And that's such a fun and unique and annoying challenge that it really hooks you.
It's the most fun I've ever had making a game. What do you say, Dave?
Fun might not be the word. You know, it is the most challenging thing you could do. When we were doing it at Atari and at Activision, there were fewer than 100 people in the world who could do what we were doing. And that in itself was, you know, very positive, very uplifting. It's really a sense of accomplishment. If you can create something that, you know, a million people love on this horribly limited piece of hardware, you've created something. You know, have a sense of accomplishment.
And there are very few things more technical challenging than trying to get a game out of the VCS in the first place, because the VCS was a very technically limited machine. It sounds like a fabulous thing, and when it first came out, it was, because people had never seen anything like it.
I don't know if other people are as rewarded by it, but you're overcoming tremendous challenges. There's nothing that's easy to do on the 2600. And you're winning, right? I love winning.
And the other thing that's fun about playing them still is that they're all 60 frames a second. They have to hit that or the screen won't draw, you know? So they're all even much better than I think consoles that came out a few years afterwards. They all feel really fast when you play them. No Atari game has any sort of lag or anything because they had no option to have lag.
It's like when today, in hindsight, people criticize the first screen of Donkey Kong on the 2600. When I finished that screen, I thought it was a miracle. And you get people on Facebook today saying it's the biggest piece of junk I ever saw. And you just have to understand the perspective of where you were at the time.
The programmers that worked with that machine were magicians.
Alrighty, moving right along here. Missile Command is the next one. Alright, Missile Command. Another massive hit was Missile Command, based on the Atari arcade game and ported to the VCS by Rob Fulop. While the Cold War era arcade game was about defending cities on Earth from missiles launched by other countries, the VCS game's manual said it was a war between two alien planets, covering up uncomfortable reality with fantasy. Cover art. The original artwork used on the cover of Missile Command for the VCS by artist George Opperman. A Missile Command wall decoration that was sold as a tie-in product. Missile Command for the VCS was Atari's biggest selling game to that point, with over 2.5 million copies sold. Rob Fulop expected a substantial bonus check that year, but was instead given this coupon for a free turkey. This led him to quit Atari and co-found the publisher iMagic. In grateful recognition of your continuing service and support, we hereby present Rob Fulop with a certificate appreciation good for one free turkey. Great. So worth it. Alright, let's hop into Missile Command. Now, if I remember correctly, this is the game that, if you know Terminator 2 Judgment Day, this is the game that John Connor was playing in the arcade when the T-1000 was looking for him. And the whole point of James Cameron showing off that was a reference to what a Skynet would do in the future with the missiles. It was all symbolic, if you will. Anyway, I think this is the game. Missile Command, platform, Atari 2600, release year 1981. Rob Fulop's VCS version of Missile Command is regarded as one of the best arcade ports for the platform. Fulop added more backstory to the game, placing players into a conflict between alien planets named Zardon and Krytal. Atari sold more than 2.5 million copies of 2600 Missile Command, making it a massive success. Okay, I think I lost. I think. Yeah. All right. Which makes sense because I managed to get all the missile thingies destroyed, or the cities, I should say. So that was Missile Command. So yeah, that was the game that was played in Terminator 2 Judgment Day and the arcade scene. I think it was a more updated version of that game. But still, a dumb cruise missile, slow target. Okay. Alright. Warlords. Sort of a combination of the arcade games Breakout and Quadrupon. Warlords was a 4-player hit in both the arcades and on the VCS, where it was programmed by Carla Meninsky. The original artwork used on the cover of Warlords for the VCS by artist Steve Hendricks. Original artwork of King Frederick and his 4 warring quadruplets. That's Dominic, Marcus, Felipe, and Restivo from the Warlords Manual by artist Steve Hendricks. In this excerpt from the July-August 1982 issue of Atari Age magazine, Warlords designer Carla Meninsky passes along her personal tips for success. Warlords. Platform Atari 2600. Release year 1981. 2 sets of paddle controllers pit 4 players against each other in this medieval-themed brick breaker. Carla Meninsky's VCS cartridge was completed before the arcade version was finished, but its release was delayed until after the coin-op had already appeared in arcades. we get the idea. I came close there. I managed to destroy 3 castles, or 2 castles, I should say. Only had 1 left. But we get the idea. It's basically like Pong, except we're destroying all the other players' castles until we're the only castle left standing. So that's pretty cool. It's a neat design concept, at least. I enjoyed that. Asteroids. Now, who doesn't remember Asteroids? Come on. Asteroids. As designed, the Atari VCS could only handle cartridges of up to 4 kilobytes in size. Atari's engineers had to come up with some clever solutions to get games like Asteroids running on the aging hardware. It was the first game on the platform to use an 8 kilobyte ROM. Eventually, games would grow to 32 kilobytes in size. Incredibly tiny by modern standards, but luxuriously huge for Atari designers. Asteroids, platform Atari 2600, release year 1981. The VCS interpretation of Atari's arcade hit retained the coin-op gameplay, replacing the lean vector graphics with colorful raster space rocks. Atari ultimately sold more than 3 million Asteroids cartridges for the Atari 2600. Alright, so let's hop right into this right now and play some Asteroids. Let's do... What is it? 5000, born 3. Start out with that one.
Power.
Okay, I'm willing to admit that I'm not doing good at this at all. I actually never played Atari back in the day, so... obviously I never played Atari. I meant I never played Asteroids back in the day. Also, the flashing asteroids is like seizure-inducing. Just saying. What? Alright, well, we get the hint. So that's Asteroids, the Atari 2600 version, of course. And of course, this game has been redone over the years. I remember Sierra actually did a remake of sorts of Asteroids with high-def visuals. I believe it was in one of their Police Quest games that you got to play it. So, it's pretty cool. Atari domination. In 1981, Atari had an estimated 80% share of the home video game market and accounted for 1/3 of Warner's earnings, pulling in over $1 billion in revenue. Warner's success during that period was widely credited to the explosion of home video games. Notable and quotable. The really, really, really important thing about video games is that they're a media product, like writing or like movies, but they're dynamic and interactive. This was the first time that such a thing was possible. It's actually a historic event. Todd Fry, designer of Sword Quest Fireworld. notable and quotable. Here's a place where your job is to come in, make stuff up. You just gotta have something clever and new at the end of the day that didn't exist at the beginning of the day, and that's a good day at work. Howard Scott Warshaw, designer of Yar's Revenge. Super Breakout. Originally released as a Sears store exclusive for the 1981 holiday season, the VCS version of Super Breakout saw a wide release in early 1982, featuring iconic cover art by Cliff Spohn that set the action in outer space. So we're going to go hop right into this and play this. Super Breakout platform Atari 2600, release year 1981. Programmed by Nick Turner and Carol Shaw, the VCS port of Super Breakout hides a musical surprise. Higher strata of bricks trigger different, longer sequences of notes, giving the player's movements and choices the ability to generate a semi-random, if often dissonant, symphony. I'm not gonna lie, that paddle is going by really fast. It's kind of hard to control it, to be honest. Let's try one more round of this. So the more modern versions of Breakout, kind of like Arkanoid and all those versions, the paddle was a lot less janky, which made it a lot easier to play these kind of games because you're not kind of over paddling, as it were. Whereas in this one, since it's kind of the birth of, I guess it's not the birth because Breakout was the original. This is Super Breakout, but same thing. Like like the paddle in this, despite being bigger than the paddle in Breakout, is still a lot harder to control, and therefore you're oftentimes missing the mark and you're losing the ball. Like, it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. And that's the thing. None of these Atari games are overly easy. We're so used to, in modern day gaming, we're so used to having everything kind of handed to us. Where like games have become a lot easier, and back then it wasn't the case. I mean, these games were notoriously hard and challenging, and the reward was completing it successfully, because that's like it's not easy. Oh, did we get to what? I guess the game ended. Okay. Well, there was Super Breakout. Haunted House. Considered by some to be the first survival horror game, Haunted House by James Anderson puts the player, represented by a pair of wide-open eyeballs, into a dark mansion and tasks them with finding and using items to escape. Box Art Gallery. The creepy box art for Haunted House was designed by Steve Hendricks. Flip through the images in this gallery to see the original concept sketches and final art for an unused version of the cover, as well as the final design. A die-cut Haunted House wall decoration. House, Digital Eclipse presents a new 2022 spin on the original, created with voxels to bring the classic game's look into new 3D spaces. So first we're going to do the original, and then we'll hop into the remake that was reimagined for this collection. So hop right into the original. Here's a look at the box, because I just realized the last couple I haven't done a spin of the box. So there's the box for Haunted House. And let's hop into it. Haunted House. Platform, Atari 2600. Release year, 1982. Minimal graphics created maximum tension in this forerunner to the survival horror genre. Players, represented by a disembodied pair of eyes, spent most of their time in darkness, searching for pieces of a crematory urn while trying to avoid ghosts, bats, and tarantulas. What? Okay. I don't know. I guess we'll do number one. All right, let's hop into this. totally forgot that we have a torch. Alright. Kinda need it. Oh, no, don't drop that. I believe that was a key. Jesus. Alright, well, we get the idea. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna go through all that, because I don't even know how many lives I have, but it seems to be going on for quite a while. So we're gonna go to the remake. Haunted Houses, platform, Atari Reimagined, release year 2022. The 2600 game that established the survival horror genre has been reanimated in 3D in honor of Atari's 50th anniversary. Two players can explore multiple environments together, armed with new gadgets to assist in finding the shattered pieces of a funeral urn. Alright, so let's hop into this remake. Ernie, really? Oh, hi, my name's Ernie. Say, you seem to be pretty limber for a floating pair of eyeballs. Must be nice. Press left stick to try moving around. Alright. Yeah, this is a lot different than what we just played. Nice. You did it. Do you also think you can use right stick to look around? Yeah, because I just did. I was using right stick all along. Also, there's a note on the locker. Doesn't it seem a little dark in here? Even for a haunted school. I mean, press square and light that torch. The bar in the upper left will tell you when your torch is set to expire. When enough's a snuff, really. Press square to fire it back up. There are helpful items scattered throughout this building, but remember, you can only see them if your torch is lit. Like this. This will, or whatever it is. Keep your torch lit and grab the scepter scroll of protection on the right. This scroll makes creatures and ghosts ignore you. Oh, cool. You can only carry one item at once. Pressing X will drop the item you are carrying. You're on fire, not literally, but your progress so far is inspiring. Ha 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 ha. Head upstairs. Hold right trigger while pressing left stick to run. Try running to the tip ahead. might be ajar, but this door is not ajar. In fact, this door is locked. Use those giant peepers and look around for the skeleton key. Whoops, I didn't mean to drop that. Ah, shit. Alright, where's the, there. I don't want to drop that. Oh, there's the key. It's the key. Grab it and go unlock that door. Remember, you can only hold one item at a time. Nope. We want the key. No, stop it. I want to extinguish my torch. I guess I can't. That's not letting me. Alright. There's the key. Now that we've unlocked this door, I wonder if we can go back and grab that scroll now. Or do we need the key? Let's find out. Okay, so we need the key. Interesting. All right. Alright, so let's grab the key. Leave the scroll behind. It's me, or a piece of me. Being an urn isn't all it's cracked up to be. Please grab my shard and ditch the key. One more lesson lies dead ahead. Let this elevator lift your spirits to the next floor. Hold on, there's something over here, though. It's a dead end? It's a dead end. You know what they say? Success isn't just handed to you. You have to earn it. I am so sorry. Yeah, so you should be. Test. I'm confused. It started a countdown, but I don't know what's going on over there. It's weird. That pesky ghost, still a sole survivor. I see. First rule of ghosts, don't run. Creep carefully, or Ghosty there will steal one of your lives. I don't even see where Ghosty is. That's his E-box, I think. My other two pieces are close. Remember, you can't see them unless your torch is lit. Put me back together and find the exit. If you lose all 3 lives, it's game over. And trust me, death is a lousy way to go. My second piece. I can start putting my life back together. Not that I'm alive. Light your torch, find it, and grab it. What's over here? A big load of nothing. Oh, I almost forgot. Press L2, left trigger, to toggle between behind the eyeballs and overhead camera views. Oh, that's cool. Actually prefer that mode. Get too close to the ghost and he'll snuff you out. Well, your torch anyway. Creep your distance. The puns are so bad. It's like dad jokes. You can creep around that creepy ghost using walls and obstacles as cover. Time it right and leave him for dead. I don't even see the ghost. No, that's not helping. Oh. Okay. Is that supposed to be a jump scare? Alright. So every time I use the torch, it subtracts $10, but I don't even see a spot for money. It's like there's no spot here for money at all. So it makes no sense. Is he guarding something over there? Maybe not. It's a final urn piece. The last of me. Pick up the third urn piece near here, and I'll be whole again. Then head for the exit. Rank F. So obviously there's a bit of secrets that I missed there. Maybe that time trial thing that I found but didn't know what to do with is probably the reason I got an F ranking. Creepy cabin. Alright, we can do 2-player. Oh, we can switch what I look like. Green beamer. What is green beamer? Oh, it's like a infrared. Well, that's kind of cool. That's different. Or not infrared, Time for the real thing. 3 urn pieces are scattered around the creepy cabin. Assemble them all, then find the exit. Hint, the exit is right behind you. Oh yeah, an extra pair of eyes. That's locked. Well, we've got one key. So let's use it on one of these doors. Let's see where this takes me. Oh, shit. Go away, spider. Damn it. No. I guess the only way to avoid, to not get attacked is by it's so this is weird because on the original it was a lot easier to avoid the monsters. In this it's a lot harder. I've got one piece of the urn, but grabbing that made us lose the skeleton key, which is not necessarily a good thing. Yeah. Okay, that's back to the exit. Okay, so we definitely need that skeleton key in order to... have we been down here? Oh, it's going further down. Alright. Or is that up? I think that's down. Oh yeah, that's down. There's one of the ghosts. Damn it. Okay. Oh. These are all locked, except for this. Oh, this is taking me outside. Interesting. feel like... wait a minute. I feel like there's not going to be an urn outside. I might be wrong, but I just don't see it happening. But then again, there's other buildings here, so who knows? Looks like a crematorium. No, it's a, yeah, well, it's a tomb. Alright, go away, bats. There's nothing in there. Nope. Oh, we can kill them. We just have to kind of step on them. There. Nope. Worked the first time. Did we just end up in a grave? Alright. There's our second piece of the urn. We only need one more piece. Granted, this is not going well because these stupid spiders keep on putting out my my infrared light. Infragreen light, whatever. Night vision. Alright. So we've kind of explored everywhere outside, so my guess is that the final urn piece is somewhere in here. It's a damn close. He's not helping my case, is he? Alright, that's going back outside. These are both locked. Alright, so let's go back this way. Going back to the exit. That's not where we want to be. Let's go up to the second floor. I feel like we're going to need that key more than we need anything else. Maybe you can't kill the spiders. We're not going to make it in time. Especially not with this damn spider always pounding on me. Where does this go? That's just a window. Alright. That's locked. We don't want to go back down to the first floor, because that's where we just were. Yeah, we're not going to make it in time, unfortunately. At least we get a good, clear picture of what the next-gen remake of Haunted Houses looks like. Oh, there's my final, well, that sucks, because now I don't know where the exit is. I mean, there's no way I'm gonna... I don't think I'm gonna make it in time. Run as fast as we can. No, we're not gonna make it. Damn it. Wait. Okay. So you do lose after the timeout. All right, so that's pretty cool though. I definitely do like this version of Haunted Houses a lot more than the original, obviously, because there's a lot of different areas, as we can see. So if we can have the lights on as well, which I kind of like. Maybe that would be better. Maybe we'll do one more round. Let's do that. Let's do one more round, but we'll have the lights on. We'll make it a bit easier. Time for the real thing. 3 urn pieces are scattered around the creepy cabin. Assemble them all, then find the exit. Hint, the exit is right behind you. Alright. So let's light our torch and look for that key, because I don't think that key shows if the torch is off. Alright. Oh, hello again. Ready for a super secret tip? Your torch has a hidden power. Just hold down the square button to charge up a spirit blocking shield. Well, you're telling me that now after I've been hit about 1,000 times? Kind of annoying. Suddenly the power is all out. I thought I was playing with the lights on. What happened here? This is just back to the way it was before. Second piece of the urn. No. I get it, Ghost. Yes. Very scary. Alright, we just need the final piece of the urn now. That's going back to the first floor. Okay. And this is going, okay, so let's go up a level. Is it a bathroom? Okay. Oh no. Okay. Not helping. Is he gone? Yeah. Alright. So there is literally nothing in here. Get back out. That's a relief. Already? I didn't think that the time went out that quickly. Alright. Alright, well, we get the idea here. That's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool remake. Alrighty. Yar's Revenge, one of the true masterpieces of the VCS era. Yar's Revenge was the first game developed by Howard Scott Warshaw, originally asked to create a home version of an arcade game called Star Castle. Warshaw decided instead to create an original VCS game and enhanced it with an elaborate storyline that was turned into a comic book. The opportunity to produce entertainment to potentially millions of people, well, that was something I'd always dreamed of, and I never knew how I'd get there. But now that I had this opportunity, I didn't want to waste it. Howard Scott Warshaw. Warshaw was the first Atari designer to be officially credited for his own game. Today, when he autographs a fan's copy of Yar's Revenge, he signs it, Yar's truly, Howard Scott Warshaw. It sucked, designing Yar's Revenge. There was no one way to make a VCS game. For Howard Scott Warshaw, the process began not with gameplay, but with the desire to see something cool on the screen. But for a while, it sucked as a game. So let's watch this video and then we'll continue on with all these other videos.
So I looked over this game. It was Star Castle. I played it a bunch. I thought about it on the VCS. I looked it over and I realized, holy crap, this is going to suck. This is going to absolutely suck. And I could not afford to have my first project suck. I did a little preparation, and then I marched myself into Dennis Cobal's office, and I said, look, instead of doing this, I'd like to do this. This is something that I think uses some of the basic game ideas, but I think this is something that would work on the system. This other one won't work. And I just made this little presentation to him. And to his credit, he said, okay, you know what, go for it. The first thing I put up on the screen was an animated character. Most people use a block because they want to start working out their game mechanics and stuff like that. I put up an animation. That was the first thing I put up on a screen. And people would go by and they go, wow, that looks cool. What does it do? I'd be like, nothing. You know, that's what it does. There it is. I said, I'm still working on it. Don't worry. It's like, and then it got to the point where it was time to actually play it and have some of the stuff. So I had achieved my goal of trying to make something interesting. And it sucked as a game, and I was exactly caught in the place I didn't want to be. So what I did was I started taking feedback, which was extremely painful, to hear people telling me how much my game sucked. The only thing that really made it tolerable was that I wasn't so self-deluded at that point that I didn't realize it sucked also. Until I worked out making some of the changes and getting it through, I was in very bad shape. And I was feeling some very negative feedback from some other people, and I was feeling, you know, I'm usually the person who's hardest on myself. And that was a tough time for me. And I had to get through that before I could hear what people were saying and start to work on it. And I had to release myself from, but I have to have this, but I have to have this. You know, as a therapist, I always catch people when they say I have to. I always love, people say, you know, I have to, but I have to do this. And I always stop and I say, look, you don't have to. Obviously you don't have to because you're not doing it, right? You don't have to, but you could, but there's probably a reason you're not. And the reason I'm able to give that lesson to my clients now is because I had to get over that. I had this have to that was making things not work. And until I could let that go, I couldn't make the game succeed. And when I did, it forced me to think in new ways, to think outside the box, and to go come up with some other left field solution. And when I made those changes, then suddenly yours was really good.
What's in a name? Once a game was complete, the next task was to decide on a name and a storyline for the marketing materials. Howard Scott Warshaw found inspiration for his character's name in the most unlikely of places, the executive floor at Atari Incorporated.
One of the product managers came by who was responsible for this product, and he goes, hey, well, we're working on naming your game. And I said, can I make a submission? Can I submit a name? And he goes, sure, why not? I said, okay, I tell you what, come by here tomorrow morning. I said, you guys won't have it settled by tomorrow, will you? He goes, no. I said, come by tomorrow morning, I will have something for you. I will have a submission for you. So now I know what I'm doing for the rest of the evening. And I don't know if you ever tried it before, when you just try to make up a new word, everything sounds stupid. At least it does for me. Everything, I can't come up with something that sounds cool. Everything sounds kind of dumb. So being the algorithmic thinker that I can be at times, I thought, well, if I can't just spontaneously come up with some name, I should come up with a way to derive the name. I'll come up with an algorithm. It's a simple title, what's going on? Maybe I need an action thing. You know, because it's an action game, I need an action word. I don't know the name of the character, but I thought, you know, revenge. Revenge is a great action word because everybody wants revenge. right? So I figure I'll go with Revenge, and now all I need is whose revenge is it? Now I just need the name of the character. And then I thought, well, one of the great ciphers is, writing something backwards. That's never a bad idea. The head of the company's name is Ray Kazar. And Ray spelled backwards, that's Yar. And Yar sounds pretty cool. It's got a Y in it, so it's got like sci-fi, anything with Y's and Z's, and maybe an X somewhere. That's good sci-fi stuff. And I sat down and I wrote a 10-page story called The Yarian Revenge of Razak IV. And that was that was going to be the title of the game, The Yarian Revenge of Razak IV. I stayed all night in the office. I was done like 3:30. I just laid down on the floor in my office and got a little sleep. And then around 10, in comes the marketing manager. And so I handed him the package. I go, here you go. This is the package for the story. I didn't realize it fully at the time, but what I had done was I had created the first backstory in the history of video games.
The original artwork used for the cover of Yar's Revenge by artist Hiro Kimura. Artwork used in the inside pages of the Yar's Revenge manual by artist Hiro Kimura. Artist included a comic. Atari included a comic book based on Howard Scott Warshaw's original story. In every Yar's Revenge box, Warshaw was credited as the game's designer in the comic, which marked the first time an Atari designer was publicly credited for their work on the packaging. So here's the actual comic, which is kind of cool. We're not going to actually read all of this, but it's kind of cool that we have access to this comic in here. A Yar's Revenge wall decoration. The Fly theatrical commercial. To sell Yar's Revenge, Atari produced a 2-minute commercial with state-of-the-art computer graphics that ran in movie theaters in 1982. Produced by the pioneering computer graphics advertising firm Robert Abel and Associates, the ad starred actor Rod Davidson as a game designer dreaming up new ideas.
A fly. I'll have a mutant fly. Hello, Yar. You'll need some protection. Ion zone. Shift chroma. Intensify. Okay, now you'll need some weapons. You have a formidable enemy. The Kotile. Watch it, Yar. He has a lethal drone. And some other tricks up his sleeve. Spiral. Go. Good move, Yar. Now I have a surprise for you. A Zorlon cannon. Use it, Yar. Fire again. Got him. That's revenge. Yar's Revenge. A video game. Yeah, this can be fun. This can be a lot of fun. Like asteroids. Get him. Do it. Beautiful. Watch it. Disintegrate. Now let's go into deeper space. Galactic map. Sector 11. Hyperspace. Sights in. Cylon warships, attack. Steady, stand by, photons. Star Raiders. That's it, Star Raiders. That'll keep them on their toes. Let's see what we can come up with next.
We're Atari. We have the vision, and we invented the technology to bring the excitement home to you.
Okay, that's interesting. Lots of flashing lights and whatnot. feels like something Michael Bay would make. The making of a high-tech ad. A feature from the July-August 1983 issue of Atari Age magazine goes behind the scenes of the making of the theatrical commercial. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yar's Revenge Enhanced. Digital Eclipse brings Yar's Revenge into the modern era with a total graphic and audio makeover, but the gameplay is identical. In fact, the new look is running on top of the original Atari VCS games code, and you can switch back and forth between versions. Alright, so we're going to go into the original first, and then we will play the remake. So here's the original game box from back in the day. And let's hop into it. Yar's Revenge. Platform, Atari 2600. Release year, 1982. Howard Scott Warshaw rejected his assignment to convert an existing arcade game to the VCS, instead pitching an original title that featured some of the same gameplay elements, but fit the hardware better. Atari allowed him the creative freedom to follow his muse and create an original sci-fi shooter, resulting in one of the most highly regarded games on the platform. Alright, let's do children's version. Yeah, sounds about right. Alright. I don't really know what I'm doing. I guess I'm just shooting at, okay, I'm destroying the, alright. Okay, so that thing, I wanted to make sure that that wasn't like a power-up or something. So that thing is bad. Okay. And apparently cannot be destroyed. Damn it. I really don't know how to destroy this thing. I figured once I chipped away at all those bricks, maybe he would be vulnerable, but it looks like... I can't shoot him from there. It's not making much of a difference. right, well, made some progress, I suppose. All right, so let's try the remake, which is included in this collection. Yar's Revenge Enhanced. Platform Atari Reimagined. Release year 2022. Modern visuals and a driving soundtrack enhance this Digital Eclipse tribute to Howard Scott Warshaw's classic Atari VCS shooter. The original gameplay remains largely untouched, but the presentation befits a 50th anniversary celebration. I'm an idiot. I just realized my mic was muted that entire time. So let's go back here, and we will reread this. All right. What goes up? In the summer of 1982, Atari was on top of the world. Its games sold millions of copies each. Millions of people around the world played Atari every day, and major new games were on the horizon. But the video game industry's fortunes were about to turn. Trouble in Paradise. The game industry was about to suffer a major market crash in 1983, but that didn't mean there were no games to play. On the contrary, some of the best games for the Atari 2600 were released during these years. With the impending release of its next-generation platform, Atari 5200, Atari rebranded the VCS to the Atari 2600. It released a new model of the system with the same form factor, but without the 1970s-era wood paneling color scheme. The 80s had arrived, and the wooden game machine was out. Atari at a crossroads. Today we understand that there is a video game console cycle. Game consoles become obsolete after several years and are replaced with new technology. But in 1982, this was not widely understood. With higher powered competition on the market, Atari wasn't sure what to do in response. Stick with the 2600? Introduce new hardware? As it turns out, it tried to do both. Intellivision. In 1979, the toy company Mattel had released Intellivision, a game console with a 16-bit processor and other technological advances. Its advertising positioned Intellivision software, particularly its sports games, as superior to Atari's. By 1981, Intellivision had sold over 1 million units. The first console war had begun. The Atari age begins. In 1982, Atari launched the Atari Club, a customer loyalty program that players could join to purchase Atari products directly at discounted prices, as well as issues of the new Atari Age magazine. Pictured, games that were sold exclusively through the Atari Club have become high-priced collector's items today. Demons to Diamonds. Written by Nick Turner and Alan Murphy, this VCS exclusive sent players to the shooting gallery out at the Cosmic Carnival. Aimed at preteen players, Demons to Diamonds offered a more lighthearted, more accessible take on the target shooting genre. Order now, July releases. The July-August 1982 issue of Atari Age magazine featured this advertisement for two new VCS games, Demons to Diamonds and Math Grand Prix. Both were aimed at younger players. So here's a look at the box. And let's hop into this. Demons to Diamonds. Platform, Atari 2600. Release year, 1982. An unusual firing mechanism. Hold paddle controller's button to determine the length of the laser blast. Highlights Demons to Diamonds, a shooting gallery designed for younger gamers. Two players can zap each other as well as enemies in the competitive mode. So we're going to do one player. Let's do Slow Skulls. Just because. Alright, so It's kind of like Space Invaders, sort of, except it's more like a targeting range at an arcade, at a theme park. I can't move up, so I just have to... I think I'm doing this right. So I can't shoot at anything until I reach... Until they reach... is it unless... Oh, I have to... Okay, I have to hold down to power the beam. I gotcha. Alright, now I get it. Okay. That makes more sense. Shit. Alright. Not doing well at all. Oh, I'm dead now. Alright. Fair enough. Well, that was Demons to Diamonds. Interesting. Just like an old shooting gallery at that you'd see in like theme parks and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. Alright. Real sports. Faced with stiff competition in the sports genre. On rival gaming platforms, Atari introduced the Real Sports series, which promised an upgraded experience from the sports games of the 1970s. The first two games released were Real Sports Baseball and Real Sports Volleyball. Real Sports Baseball, while it was still held back from anything approaching true realism, Real Sports Baseball was a vast improvement over Atari's previous VCS baseball title Home Run, which was a major departure from the rules of real-life baseball. So we'll just continue going on the list and we'll play these afterwards. The original artwork used on the cover of Real Sports Baseball for the Atari 2600 by artist Michael Aleo. While there had already been a volleyball game for a rival platform, it did not actually attempt to replicate the real-life game. Real Sports Volleyball was the first game to play like a simulation of the real thing. Even today, its stylized beach scene has an appealing look. Real Sports Football. The next game released in the Real Sports series was Football, which added a level of graphical precision and gameplay depth not seen in the previous football game that had been released on the VCS in 1978. Original artwork used for the Atari 5200 version of Real Sports Football by artist Hiro Kimura. Alright, so we'll go right to this one and work our way down. Real Sports Baseball. Platform, Atari 2600. Release year, 1982. By 1982, Atari's early baseball game Home Run was looking extremely long in the tooth. Atari responded to criticisms from its competition by launching Real Sports Baseball, offering vastly improved graphics and deeper strategic gameplay. Oh wait, hold on here. Let's quickly look at the controls here. Okay, action is X. Alright. Why is the pitcher throwing the ball before I even... Alright, let's do this. No. Why is this not working? Okay. Hang on. Let's go back for a quick second. I'm wondering if... Oh, it's... Okay, so we wanted to add one player. I'm wondering if it had put it on 2 players. Okay. There we go. Oh. Why is my... Oh, okay, so I have to hold... That's kind of confusing. How am I missing every time? I feel like I should have hit that ball at least multiple times now. Okay, Oh, now I'm... Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this. Seems overly odd, the controls and everything. Alright, so let's go into Real Sports Volleyball. Real Sports Volleyball. Platform Atari 2600. Release year 1982. An excellent example of how extended development time can benefit a game. Real Sports Volleyball was in development by Bob Polaro before the Real Sports series was named. With programmers Jim Huthers' contributions, it became a great launch title for the Real Sports line, and remains one of the best sports games on the Atari 2600. Alright. Oh, this is kind of cool. Alright. Apparently the CPU is terrible, but... Oh! I spoke too soon. Oh my god. Alright. We're not doing good at all. Alright. Oh. Damn. Shit. We're tied right now. Damn. Shit. Oh. Damn. Come on. No. And now they're getting competitive. Near the beginning, they were just like missing all the balls. Alright. Seems like the more points you get, the harder the AI starts adapting. Oh, and I've just won. Alright. That's pretty cool. I didn't mind that at all. That's actually a really cool, it's actually a really cool game. I like that one. Alright, and finally, the Real Sports Football. Real Sports Football. Platform, Atari 2600. Release year, 1982. A response to criticism of Atari's simplistic early sports titles, Real Sports Football presents a vast improvement over the original football game for VCS. In addition to more sophisticated play calling, watch for graphical details like end zone celebrations after touchdowns. I see that my controller is dying, so we're gonna just plug that in. Alright. One-player game, yes, let's do it. Now I'm not gonna lie here. I don't play sports games. They're not my thing. I've never been a big sports fan ever. So don't expect much. Was that a cell phone ringing? What was that sound? Oh my god, okay. Get the hell away from me. They just need me in the garage. No. Well, this is going really well so far. Okay, so I get it. I got the ball and I have to dodge all of these idiots, but it's not easy. And, okay. Really? Not even my other player is willing to help in this? Okay. No. Alright. Sword Quest Earthworld. By far Atari's most ambitious project for the VCS. Sword Quest was to be a 4-game series, each game hiding a complex puzzle that would lead to a single player winning a $25,000 prize, crafted from gold and gemstones. The first game released was Sword Quest Earthworld, programmed by Dan Hitchens. The origins of Sword Quest. Todd Fry, the Atari game designer who conceived of the Sword Quest project, discusses how this ambitious concept came about in this video feature.
So Adventure was a really popular product, and we were there was some vibe around maybe a sequel to Adventure. And somewhere in there, I got the idea of doing a series of games that were contests with comic books, with real prizes made by Franklin Mint. We were part of Warner Communications, and somewhere along there, we had started to be doing bits of comic books with the games. And because Warner Communications owned DC Comics. Warner Communications, I happen to know, I don't know that anyone else was paying attention, also owned Franklin Mint, right? Franklin Mint being a collectible company. I don't know, they made plates and little figurines and stuff, I know, and medallions, and not my scene, but it's a creative world. It's hard to talk about this without going me, me, me. I don't love going me, 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 but a lot of it was, I consider myself to basically have been the showrunner of Sword Quest. The concept was mine, the literary concept, the material. So the games are actually moderately literate and erudite, right? The whole story is put together as a lot like a Grail quest or something in Joseph Campbell. It would be a hero's journey, a spiritual evolution, a life. It's a story of a life, of a energetic, a magical life, right, through these mystical systems. So I embedded it in a lot of historical culture of mysticism, and sold the idea, and it went over big. It was brave. It was ambitious, it was audacious, and it had a certain je ne sais quoi, but I don't know what it is. I'll back up a little bit. There was kind of a bizarre effort to do a combination of Twitch and adventure game, to merge and to create an action adventure. I think Howard tried this in Raiders, right, where he tried to make an adventure game that was built into an action game and merge the two. So I consider Howard and I to be some of the pioneers of action adventure. Got to say this in a certain way. So you'd play this action game, and maybe get a clue, a prize that you'd add to your inventory. And if you had that in your inventory, then you could unlock, then you'd be on this map. You wouldn't necessarily see the map, but you'd be inside a maze, and a door would open in the maze, and there'd be another action game there. And so it was kind of like a first-person adventure with action elements. That was basically, and you know, I got looking back at it when I say it that way and knowing those are the times, it was very audacious. And it was actually very creative. It was really, you know, it was really cool.
Sword Quest Earthworld comic. Each Sword Quest game included a comic book created by DC. Vital clues to solving the game's puzzles were hidden in each book. So here is the #1 issue of DC comic Sword Quest Earthworld. This is kind of cool. Pretty long comic book too. It's about the size of an actual DC comic, which is kind of neat.
Fella.
Hey, always asleep. You're tuning in kind of late here. We're almost done for the night. I guess I could keep it running a couple more minutes extra so that you can see a little bit of stuff. So this was the comic that came with every copy of Sword Quest back on the Atari 2600. This comic was made by DC Comics and was included in every copy of Sword Quest, the game, back in 1985, I think? No, 1982. Okay. The Sword Quest begins. Tor and Tara reach for the elusive sword of ultimate sorcery in this artwork by George Perez, which became the cover for an issue of Atari Age magazine in 1982. A real-life treasure hunt. Atari introduced Sword Quest to its most dedicated players in September 1982 via Atari Age magazine. The cover was drawn by DC Comics artist George Perez. A feature inside the magazine described the 5 prizes that were to be given out, including a $50,000 sword for the final victor. And when they say a $50,000 sword, they're not talking about an in-game sword, they're talking about an actual sword. So these players would attempt to, I guess, complete this game within a certain time limit, and Atari would reward them with actual gold and jewels, which they explained in the video that we just watched. They had contacted various jewelers and stuff like that to make these things as prizes. And so I guess the head prize was this $50,000 sword. That's pretty cool. So there's all the different prizes. The sword, the talisman, the chalice, the crown, and the philosopher's stone. That's pretty cool. Nowadays you wouldn't see game companies do that because it's just a waste of money. I mean, granted they do have contests, but it's for stupid shit like maybe, you know, extra DLC or whatever, just something basic. Atari introduces Sword Quest, an advertisement that appeared in the January 1983 issue of Gaming Enthusiast magazines, announced the complete cycle of Sword Quest games: Earthworld, Fireworld, Waterworld, and Airworld. Solution revealed, winner named. In mid-1983, Atari revealed the official solution to Sword Quest Earthworld in Atari Age magazine, then named the winner of the first contest, Stephen Bell of St. Clair, Michigan, who was awarded the solid gold talisman. Wait, $150,000 contest? But the talisman was only worth... That doesn't make any sense. So why would he win the $25,000 talisman if he won the first place? He should have won the sword. Not the talisman. The talisman's worth less. That's weird. All right, anyway, so let's hop into this and see if we can win. I want the $50,000 sword. I guess it's never been won, so let's win it. It's just sitting there waiting for somebody to win it. This feels like Ready Player One all of a sudden. Anyway, Sword Quest Earthworld, platform Atari 2600, release year 1982. The first of a projected 4-game series, Sword Quest Earthworld.
Collecting dust in some warehouse.
Yeah, it's just sitting there in Indiana Jones's warehouse. It belongs in a museum, damn it. Sword Quest Earthworld promised a real-world gold talisman worth $25,000 to players who could survive its minigames and solve its hidden puzzle. Clues of the game led players to key frames of a comic book included with the cartridge. By mixing twitch sequences with exploration, Earthworld helped pioneer the action-adventure genre. Select game variation. What? No game variation. So why would you even put the menu up? It doesn't make any sense. Select game variation. No, there is none. Just ignore this menu that we made. It doesn't exist. All right, let's. So do I have weapons? Okay, that's either my inventory or I've just entered into. I'm assuming this is my inventory. Yeah, okay. So how do I... Alright, let's look at the controls for a sec. Action is X. Okay. But I was hitting X and it just takes me to my inventory. What's that? That looks good. Yeah, let's equip that. I don't know what that is, but yes. Okay. Why is there what is that beside me? Is that like a naked girl? What is this? What is this over here? Okay, cool. Alright, well let's... Can't go that way, alright. Oh. Alright, down here. What? Alright, let's, I am very confused right now. So, I can only go up and down? But if I go down, it just takes me to the last room I was in. And if I go up, it just takes me into another room. But the other room is the exact same as the previous rooms. People won this? What? What? Well, I don't even know what I'm doing. Oh, did I win?
If only Stu was here to explain what the hell is going on.
I apparently won the sword. All I had to do was press up a number of times. Right? I know. Stu's a traitor. No, you're the first person to show up. You came a bit late, but you're the first person to show up. But again, I'll stream regardless of whether anybody watches or not, and then if people can watch it later on if they choose to do so. I can understand priorities and people being busy. This is stupid. So why are these doors here if I can't even go through them at any time?
Are you streaming tomorrow?
I don't. Oh, I finally made it somewhere. What is this, Frogger? I don't know. Maybe? It depends on if I'm busy with friends or not. Oh, actually, no, I won't be streaming tomorrow. Actually, wait a minute. You know what? I have an idea. I might stream Diablo 4 tomorrow. Because there is a plan for me, my roommate, and my friend to play it all together. So I might stream that. Get a break from the Atari games. What am I doing? This is like... How am I supposed to get through this? No wonder people won awards for this. This is nonsense. This is crazy hard. Like, how... Good lord. Where am I supposed to go? Up to the yellow? Or do I just go over here? That would be so funny if that was it. You just go over to the side, you ignore it. All these lasers being shot in every direction at you. It's like fucking... It's like the orgy of the Death Star over here.
This sure is a video game.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a game I'd ever want to play, but, you know. I'm so glad that modern day games aren't this... complicated. Oh, there's a... Oh, no. Jesus. We made it! Did we get the sword? I want the sword. Give me the $50,000 sword. What did I get? A globe? Fantastic. That's what I've always wanted. I've successfully unlocked the globe. Which does something. We don't know what, but we'll figure it out. Okay. So I guess we'll just keep on going up until one of these doors leads us somewhere. The overly dramatic door, like walking up to the door, it reminds me so much of the original Resident Evil games. Where you would like get a three-dimensional like first-person close-up of the door opening in the original games. It almost feels like Atari came up with the concept first with this game. This is dumb. Like there's... I don't even think... Am I supposed to use these inventory objects for something? What? Suddenly I have women's shoes and a key. Alright. Apparently this adventurer had a lucky night. He got the keys to a prostitute's house and their shoes. And all he had to do was run through a bunch of lasers. It's like... I don't know. Alright. No wonder this guy won an award for this. The game developers were probably like, Jesus Christ, somebody beat our shitty game? We gotta reward him now. Most people who bought this game put it down after the first 3 hours of trying to figure out where to go. And somebody actually beat our crap, so let's give him a $25,000 medallion. I wonder if the guy still has it. That's one hell of a story. What? How did you win that medallion, Grandpa? Well, you know, I wandered around a room aimlessly for about 6 years of my life. Then I entered into one room, avoided a bunch of lasers, which gave me prostitute shoes and a key. The grandkids are just like, Mom, Grandpa's senile again. Uh. I'm done. I have no idea what I'm playing. It just feels. I'm sure I'm missing something, but it feels incredibly repetitive and confusing. So, what? Official Atari handshake. What in the hell? All right, let's see if Stu knows this. We should check it out. We should ask Stu if he knows the official Atari handshake. The November-December 1982 issue of Atari Age magazine debuted the official Atari handshake, perfect for identifying fellow Atari players and or accidentally dislocating their thumbs. What? Okay, let's see. We met recently with an Atari vice president who prefers to remain anonymous. Yeah, probably because they don't exist. And in the course of our conversation, she let slip the secret of the official Atari handshake, which has been making the rounds at Atari headquarters. It's too good to keep to ourselves, so we'll share it with you, but remember, we're swearing all of you to secrecy on this. Clasp hand as in a regular handshake. Lift the other person's thumb and grasp it with your free hand. What? Rotate the thumb you're holding, making believe it's a joystick. Why? No. That is the That's
I
creepy.
don't like this. Yucky.
Sounds sexual. I don't know. If somebody came up to me and shaked my hand like that, I'd be calling the cops. That's okay. Rebus Fun. The November-December 1982 issue of Atari Age magazine presented readers with this Rebus contest, challenging them to figure out the names of 6 different Atari video games from the pictures. The contest has been over for 40 years now, but try it anyway. Answers on the second page of this gallery. Okay. 1. D. D and water? I don't know what the hell that image is. Right. How the hell were you supposed to figure this out? Hand comb Lady L. Our first prize winner will receive an Atari 5200 Advanced Game System. 5 second prize winners will receive an Atari Game Program cartridge of their choice. 23rd place winners will receive an official Atari digital watch. 204th prize winners will receive an official Atari Frisbee. A Frisbee! So all the other players get cool shit, and the 4th place, you get a goddamn Frisbee. Oh yeah, I'm sure they were just thrilled to get that. Oh my god. Alright. A Frisbee. This is going to be good news, bad news solution section. First, the good news. We can tell you without fear of contradiction, the winner of the Picture Clues contest, which appeared in the November-December issue of Atari Age, the grand prize of an Atari 5200 game system goes to John Much of Canton, Michigan? Minnesota? I don't know what that is. Michigan? John's correct answers were 1 Defender. Okay. 1 Defender. Okay, so the second image is the game case, which I wouldn't know, because it's 2 Home Run. Oh! Okay, Home Run makes sense. 3 Night Driver. Okay, that makes sense. 4 Video Pinball. Video Pinball. Oh, that's not that hard. Okay, that's cool. 5 Missile Command. Miss L. Comb Hand. Miss L. Comb Hand. I don't know about that one. That seems stupid. Alright, what's the last one? Human cannonball. What? What's with the U, though? Okay, I can see the right side being human cannon ball, because it looks like a cannon inside of a ball with a human. But what the hell does the U have to do with anything?
Oh yes, Miss L. Comehand, the game that defined a generation.
Miss L. Comehand. It's so stupid. Oh my god. Congratulations to the winners, I guess, because these are dumb. Atari 5200. In late 1982, 5 years after the launch of the VCS, Atari finally released a next-generation game console, which it called the Atari 5200. The technology inside was roughly equivalent to that of the Atari 400 and 800 home computers, and the games were largely similar to the computer versions. Dude, that looks like a freaking PS2, or PS3. It's kind of similar in design, isn't it? The Atari 5200. It reminds me of the PS3 Slim, or whatever the hell it was. No, was it the Slim? I don't know. It's got a very similar style, that's for sure. Minus, the cartridge slot. The controller. One of the Atari 5200's most unique features, and the one it is most derided for to this day, was its analog control stick. This gave the player more fine-tuned control over the gameplay, but since the stick did not automatically center itself like modern analog sticks, it was much less fun to use. Yeah, I feel like this was used by Stu at some point, and he just screamed and yelled at it and threw a tantrum. So sounds about right. Trackball. A few months after the launch of the 5200, Atari introduced the trackball controller. This was part of the 5200's promise of bringing arcade-quality Atari games to the home by giving players the same style of controller that was used for Centipede, Missile Command, and other arcade hits. It's kind of like a mouse before a mouse. I don't know. It looks kind of clunky. 5200, an Atari tragedy. In the words of former Atari engineer Jerry Jessup, the 5200 was a good idea gone horribly wrong. In this video feature, Jessup, Howard Scott Warshaw, and Todd Fry explain how the 5200 was released into the market over the objections of Atari's engineers.
The 5200 was a tragedy. The 5200 was a good idea gone horribly wrong.
The big problem that we had at Atari, the thing that killed the industry more than any other one thing, even more possibly than the E.T. video game, is that it was the first product life cycle. No one had ever been through a major success video game console life cycle. So where does it end? Nowadays, when somebody comes out with a new system, they already are designing the next system because they know the life of a system. They know a console is good for a certain number of years, and then it's going to die, it's going to fall off, and that's when we need to be ready and prepared to come in with the new system. Holy crap, our first machine is finally falling off the cliff. We need something. We have something. We can take the 400, 800 computer, repackages the 5200, spit it out, and we can do it.
So the 5200 was basically what the 400, 800 was going to be 3 years before. It's a tough business. Business is cruel. And like I say, I'll say it again, it was the first time anything was being done. No one knew.
And what happened was the Atari 5200, it grew very large because marketing wanted perceived value, so bigger was better in some respects. And then marketing got really focused on the Intellivision, and Intellivisions had a bunch of buttons. They had a keypad. and they had this disc with 12 distinct regions. And so, hey, if we put an analog stick here, and one that doesn't self-center was the great idea, this will be a better marketing message than the Intellivision controller. And of course, it was a horrible experience. The company lost focus on what was important, and it was gameplay's important. You know, good games sell, bad games don't. If you've got a bad control mechanism, doesn't matter how good the graphics are. It's not going to be fun to play.
Now what do you do? So, and that was the thing. Engineering we really wanted to do something cool, right? We wanted to do like a real next generation because the 400-800 was already last generation.
The engineering team and the creative team, the game designers, we were so upset, and we all felt that we were making a wrong decision with this controller, that we put together a petition to upper management, and we just explained that, you know, this is a great product, the control is lacking, we've got some other alternatives we want you to see, and my name's number 3 on the list of the petitioners.
See, I wasn't someone who signed petitions so much as talked to people behind the scenes, because I always felt that was more like the way you operate in a corporation. And but I definitely put the word out whenever I could that, like, you know, this is something we either should have done a few years ago or, you know, can't really do now.
We told marketing, hey, we could make this 2600 compatible. They didn't want anything to do with that. They said they must be very separate and distinct. We can't have backwards compatibility, which at the time we thought might be a great feature. It's a good way to get people that have these Atari games already and keep them on the Atari platform instead of giving them an opportunity to jump to another platform. And so we designed the product specifically so that you could never have 2600 compatibility. About 2 months before launch, they demanded 2600 compatibility. And at that time, we had to build an adapter. And then we actually had to modify consoles that were already made, the first ones, to work with this adapter. And we called this thing the piggyback parasite. We were just horribly embarrassed by that situation. That never should have happened.
There was some big time denial, you know, around Atari, because nobody wants their parade rained on. And when it's the best parade you've ever imagined in your life, nobody wants to see a cloud. You just don't want to see it. So we didn't.
The irony is that most modern day consoles to this day barely have backwards compatibility. So it feels like they did something that game companies to this day don't really do. Because console backwards compatibility is just really not a thing. They don't. I mean, it's here and there. It works sometimes. I know that the PS4 or the PS5 is backwards compatible with PS4 games. But as for the PS4 itself, you could only play PS3 and PS2 games and PS1 games digitally, provided they were on the store. Whereas with the PS5, yeah, you can put in any PS4 game that you have, and it'll be able to run. Now, granted, it may not be the best, because if it doesn't have a proper patch, it could be buggy. But for the most part, in my experience, almost all of the PS4 games I own run perfectly on the PS5. Anyway, Super Breakout. Each 5200 came with a copy of Super Breakout, packed in. This was a slightly upgraded version of the home computer game that was released in 1979. In other words, although it was fun, it was 3 years old and not a great showcase for what the 5200 could do in 1982. So why would you include that in the collection? What? Okay, so you're just basically saying it's a shitty game, but here we go, play it anyway. Alright. Super Breakout, platform Atari 5200, release year 1982. The pack-in game for the Atari 5200, Super Breakout, retains the multiple ball multiple play modes of its arcade inspiration, but the manual adds some backstory describing the colorful walls as an iridescent force field, blocking the astronaut player's access to the planet Laris. Or Ayeris? I don't know. Okay. This just feels like, yeah, this is just the Super Breakout game I played earlier. No. Hopefully the paddles, yeah, the paddle's a lot easier to control on this one though, which is nice, because the last game the paddle was janky as hell. Oh, I spoke too soon. Very basic. If this was the game to showcase the console, this is bad. I agree. This is a bad choice. That'd be like showing off the PS5 by putting on Pong, which ironically, on the PS5 in the store you can't actually buy Pong and old games like that to play on the PS5. Heck, I'm playing this on my PS5 right now, so I mean, it happens. All right, well, that's exactly like the other two copies of the game I played before, except that it's easier to control. Missile Command. Missile Command was another early 5200 game that was a direct port of the 400/800 computer version, although in this case, the computer version had just been released in 1981, so it was still a fresher experience. Special features, bonus cities, skip waves, all smart bomb games. Alright. So Missile Command was the... I was saying this earlier. Missile Command was the game that John Connor played in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. When he was in the arcade and the T-1000 was trying to look for him. Okay, how do I start? Oh. Okay. So... the reason this game was chosen for John Connor to play in Terminator 2 was because it kind of referenced in a way Skynet and the missiles that would destroy humanity in the future, because it's literally a game where you're defending cities against missile attacks and like robots and things like that, aliens or whatever. So that was generally the main reason why that game was chosen. Oh, I am not doing good. That's generally the reason that game was chosen for John Connor to play in Terminator 2, because it was kind of like a sign of things to come. Two times points. All right. Oh, look, there's an airplane flying. Yeah, destroy the airplane. We don't need. Oh, come on. Oh, am I dead? Well, pretty much. This is terrible. I am not doing good at all. I'm out of ammo. Fantastic. Alright, cool. Ouch. Damn. Let's get rid of that plane. We don't need planes. Yeah, this is a lot more challenging than the original Missile Command. I'm dead now anyway. That's everything destroyed. Alright. What's the target still up? What? Oh. There. Fantastic. A for effort. Okay. Yeah, the end, I'll say. God, even the end gets nuked. Look at that. Not even the end is safe.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. The world was destroyed by the T-800s. Fantastic. Star Raiders, the outer space combat game. Star Raiders is considered the killer app for Atari's line of computers, but the 5200 version, with its various small improvements to the design, is generally considered to be the definitive edition. Just a weird looking cover. Congratulations! You're now a member of the elite Star Raiders. Seek out and destroy on sight all Xylon starships while you battle time, energy drain, starship damage, and enemy threats to vital star bases. Alright. Star Raiders, platform Atari 5200, release year 1982. Created by Doug Neubauer, I don't know. The space combat simulation Star Raiders was the first killer app for Atari 8-bit computers. The 5200 version, running on very similar hardware but with the convenience of analog joystick and keypad controls, brought one of Atari's defining computer games to the console audience. What is with the... Okay. There is no way this music was on the Atari... Hold on. Why does this feel like this is a remake? Hold on here. Let's go back for a sec. Oh, wait a minute. Enhanced. Oh. Okay, so what if we go to original mode? What? Okay. Maybe I'll go to the enhanced mode, because I don't know what's going on there. Attack, computer, long-range scan, subspace radio, photon torpedoes, engines, shields. Oh, that's the difficulty, I guess? Novice? Pilot. Okay. Warrior mission, commander mission. Let's do novice. Hold. Long range scan, rear view, forward view, galactic chart. Okay. Okay, let's go to that ship. Can we do that? Is that what we're doing? Okay, so this is basically like Star Wars before Star Wars. Hey, the enemies look like TIE fighters. I'm just gonna say this right now. This is a rip-off on Star Wars. Hold on. Star Wars was 1977. This game is 1940? 1940. What am I saying? 1980. When did this come out? Xylon fighter. Yeah, bullshit. Even the Xylon base star is the damn freaking Star Destroyer. Man, you guys are stealing shit. Let's go to the end of this manual and see when this game was made. scorecard. 1982. Okay, so you literally took everything from Star Wars, which was made in 1977. You basically made it
Those
into
are
your
clearly
game.
Zilons, a very separate than the original design, sir.
Oh yeah, totally. The Skull Fighters from Space Quest that looked nothing like the TIE Fighters. Well, I don't know. Let's try this one more time. Let's go back to the galactic map. We're gonna go attack a bunch of flying bricks.
Hey, when you started streaming I was unfortunately still at work.
I'm telling you, listen to this guy. Hey, always asleep. Listen to this guy. Fucking making up excuses, I'm telling you.
Star Raiders was the killer app for the Atari 8-bit
Oh yeah?
computer.
We just found out that it's ripping off Star Wars. All the enemies are fucking TIE fighters. What is this shit? Even the explosions
No
are
wonder
Michael
it
Bay.
failed.
No. Yeah. Alright. What is
Well, it may be, but it apparently sold a shitload.
Yeah, because there was... They didn't have many Star Wars style games back then. I mean, they had the Star Wars Atari games, I guess, but that was later on. I feel. Let's go after the sun.
I think this game came out in 1980.
Close. I think it was 19... hang on. We were looking at that in the manual. Which clearly... Look at that! Okay, Stu. The Xylon fighter looks like a TIE fighter. The Xylon base star looks like a Star Destroyer. Or not a Star Destroyer. Yeah, Star Destroyer. Or Death Star. That's what I meant to say. Death Star, not Star Destroyer. The Xylon Cruiser just looks like... I don't know. Anyway, if we go right to the very end of this beautiful manual... 1982 was when the game came out. And Star Wars came out in 1977. So, you know.
This is the 5200 version. It probably came out later.
Yeah, you are correct. This is the 5200 version. That's where we are right now in this. We're at the release of the 5200, and they were re-releasing certain games that were popular to try to sell more 5200s. And there is nothing in this area. Apparently I'm destroying stars? Oh, wait. Okay, no, those are enemies. Come here, you Klingon bastards.
I was wrong. It came out apparently in 1979 for Atari 8-bit, which is crazy because the machine itself only came out in 1979.
Spock, fire photon torpedoes at Stu. He's running game. I just want to play it. I'm just trying to fight the Klingons in space. And this guy is just getting on my nerves. Alright, anyway, we get the idea. It's okay. It's not bad. I do enjoy it. I will say that the worst of the series is the Atari Breakout,
That
or
reminds
the
me,
Super
I
Breakout.
found an AGI Star Trek adventure last night.
Oh, it was probably fan-made. I think I've seen it. AGI Quest or AGI Trek or something like that. I feel like you did an AGI Trek before or something. Or you did something similar. Centipede in early 1983.
It was definitely fan-made.
Yeah, I think I played it. In early 1983, Atari released home versions of its smash hit arcade game, Centipede. The Atari 2600 version is an excellent example of how a game could be distilled down to its barest graphical essence, but still remain exciting to play. Logo and artwork for the 2600 version of Centipede that appeared in a 1983 catalog for video game retailers. Kind of creepy, not gonna lie. What is with that spider? It's like a clown spider. Alright, play. Centipede, platform Atari 2600, release year 1983. Why is there a goblin on the cover? Or some kind of... Okay. Despite its blocky graphics and horizontal aspect ratio, the VCS version of Centipede nails the fast shooting action of the arcade original. A good example of how a translation from arcade to home doesn't need to be perfect to be accurate. Atari sold 1.4 million Centipede cartridges for the Atari 2600. Okay. It's the same damn thing as the one we played before, except that there's no mushrooms involved. And death by spider again.
Where did the centipede?
I am not doing good. Oh, the spider is not invincible. Alright, I wish I would have known that sooner. Oh, if you just hold it down? Oh, shit, I didn't know that. That makes it a hell of a lot easier.
The spider may not be invincible, but it's definitely annoying.
Oh yeah, no, it totally is. Well, that was fun. I don't like to play any of these for very long. We're mainly here for the educational purposes. Obviously, we're going to cover the games and play some of the games, but the overall is to explore what Atari was and is, because we'll go into the 2000s at a later stream. Sword Quest Fire World, the second in the 4-game Sword Quest cycle. Fire World was programmed by Todd Fry. Like Earthworld, it contained an intricate puzzle that was only solvable through careful observation of the game and the included comic book. The original art used on the Sword Quest Fire World box by artist Warren Chang. The January-February 1980
solvable by insane people.
The January-February 1983 issue of Atari Age magazine tempted players with the allure of winning the chalice, made of solid gold and precious gemstones for solving the puzzles of Fire World. And somewhere some old guy now has it in his house and is drinking coffee out of it. The comic include... I was just saying this earlier to Always Asleep, that it's... Could you imagine just some old guy sitting in his house, his grandkids pull out this chalice, say, Grandpa, where'd you get this? Back in my day, I played this game where I was wandering around a room trying to figure things out. I was a dot on the screen, and there was other dots attacking me, and
Nobody
somehow...
won the contest. I think some dude does have the chalice, though.
Yeah, well, no, somebody won the first contest. Some dude won the first contest, where it was a sword. I just picture, like, you know, this old grandfather telling the kids this story, this magical story of how he won the contest by, like, being a dot on the screen and shit like that. And the kids are like, Mom, Grandpa's finally lost it. We need to put him in a home. Sword Quest Fireworld comic. The comic included with each copy of Sword Quest Fireworld, which contained clues to solving the game's puzzles. So these comics were made by DC, and were, as I stated earlier, so all of the comics, all of the Sword Quest comics are included in this collection in their entirety. So that's kind of cool to be able to, you know, read these old comics digitally. Now I'm not going to actually sit here and read all this crap because
Warner Bros. Owned both DC and Atari.
Yeah, no, I know. They covered all of that in a video that you missed. God, these comics are long, too. They're like a full-length comic.
Did you miss Earthworld? Hustle down today to your favorite Atari cartridge dealer and get Sword Quest #1, Earthworld.
Go back and narrate the whole comic. What do you think I am paying you for?
You're not paying me at all. Not even Stu pays me to do narration. I swear I'm gonna go on strike. Solution revealed. Chalice won. Ha! Ha! Stu was wrong! Oh, Stu, how does it feel to be wrong? And with something you know so much about. Atari. I guess some old grandfather does have the Atari chalice in his house and is drinking coffee out of it. As his grandkids look on like, Grandpa's insane. Atari on...
You blew it. I wanted to send you free shit, but you never gave me your address.
Well, I'm not going to give it to you live on my live stream, my friend. I will give you my address. Don't worry. I just keep forgetting, and I get distracted with other stuff.
I think some dude has the chalice.
Oh, did you? I thought you said that nobody won the chalice. Atari unveiled the solution to Sword Quest Fireworld in the September-October 1983 issue of Atari Age.
Also, give out your credit card number.
Yeah, right? In the next issue, it announced that Michael Rideout of Aiken, South Carolina, had won the prize after a showdown between 50 finalists at Atari's Sunnyvale, California office. Okay. Not going to show what he looked like or anything. $150,000 contest.
LOL, give out your address like Tony Stark.
Yeah. Alright, so here is the game case for people like Stu to Google at. Study your comic book before leaping into the blinding, fiery world below the earth. Search for clues and 16 magical objects to solve the mysterious puzzle for valuable prizes. For youth with North American and other NTSC television sets only. Alright, let's... Sword Quest Fireworld. And I think that's going to be our last game for tonight, because we're almost at 3 hours. And I don't want to... I don't like to go... Yeah, we're almost at 3 hours. Sword Quest Fireworld, platform Atari 2600, release year 1983. The second Sword Quest title is remembered for its difficult action minigames, as well as its role in a real-world treasure hunt that leveraged the cross-promotional power of what were then 3 Warner companies: Game Makers Atari, DC Comics, and the Franklin Mint. Oh god, it's the same damn thing all over again. Except that... Oh my... What? Why do the
3
graphics...
hours of old Atari games, you poor bastard.
Right? I know. It's almost like I'm turning into Stu's game reviews. Why do the graphics look worse in this than they did in the first game? So
Yeah, these games are shit.
This is the second game in the Sword Quest series, but the graphics are worse. In the first game, you didn't look like a shadow. You looked like a person. You had
This
a
is why
face.
I didn't like Todd Fry's comments in that video.
It's the same damn... What is the difference between this and what I just played earlier? It's the same shit all over again. So, it's... This is stupid. So it's the exact same game. All they did was make the character a shadow instead of an actual person. This is the only difference I'm seeing. And there's 2 breasts in the middle of the screen.
You're inside a giant Rob the Robot.
Am I?
The same, but worse. It is the Atari way.
The same, but...
The Atari expansion, your favorite game reimagined with worse graphics and stupid characters and clipping through walls.
What was that? I literally just clipped right through that wall. Like, hold on, let's try that again. I was like standing here and I just fell through the wall. That was weird.
LOL, maybe that was a secret passage.
No, it wasn't. It didn't lead me anywhere. It just teleported me back to the same room. Also, this man doesn't even walk. He just moonwalks. It makes sense now. He's Michael Jackson. What just happened? Now the game just froze. Alright.
This should be called Shit Quest.
Yeah, I've seen enough. I've seen more than enough.
And if you solve it, you get a pile of shit.
Oil lamp, rope, amulet, chalice, leather armor, ring, talisman of passage, water. Okay. Shoes of stealth. Oh, so they weren't shoes from a prostitute. All right. I guess I should have read this manual before playing the first game, because I thought that I had undressed a prostitute at some point and ended up getting her shoes. Apparently, I was wrong. I'm surprised that Helpful Hints doesn't have something like, don't forget to turn on your TV before playing the game. I'll never forget when game manuals in the 90s and early 2000s. We don't have manuals anymore because everything's digital. But I mean, back then, like the manuals, you would open them up and they'd say something like, "Yeah, don't put this PS2 game inside of an Xbox." Like because apparently people were back then just shoving their PS2 and PS3 games into Xboxes or something. I don't fucking know. It's so dumb. Like I guess they think that gamers are mentally challenged, which I suppose, given today's gamers, is probably not too far off from the truth, but I mean, still, I don't...
LOL, on the Nintendo carts, it's like, do not immerse this in benzene.
Yeah, do not... Just remember, folks, before you play your game, don't immerse it in sulfuric acid, for the love of God. We're just telling you, just in case you, by any chance, in the future, decide to soak your video game in sulfuric acid. Mail's here to tell you don't do that. Don't drink bleach. I kind of want to make my own video game manual now. Just be like...
I will immerse how and when I want.
Quadrun, designed by Steve Wojta. Quadrun was the first 2600 game to use voice synthesis. It was released exclusively through the mail-order Atari Club in limited quantities, making it a high-priced collectible today. Zoom. Save the runts. Oh, at least there's a R there. All right. Okay. Let's hop into this. Quadrun platform Atari 2600, release year 1983. The first VCS game was synthesized speech. Quadrun was released in 1983, just as the game industry was starting to crash. What a great time to release a game. Only 10,000 cartridges were produced, and most were sold directly to members of the Atari Club via mail, making physical copies of this unusual action game, mixing elements of tower defense with a simple game of catch, a true rarity. So I suppose the next question is, Stu, do you own this game?
Quadrun.
that was the synthesized voice. It just sounded like a guy having a seizure.
9,000 copies of this. I do not. Haha.
Probably for the best, because this looks like ass. What am I doing? You have 10,000 copies? What? Okay. Quadrun. The developers should check with the voice actor, because I feel like he's having a seizure. It's just the voice actor having a seizure on the ground. They decided to record the voice. That's all it is. That was fun. Yeah, I enjoyed that. I have no idea what I was doing. Phaser balls. Shoot the captors with a phaser ball, then run to the opposite sector and catch the phaser ball so that you can reuse it. No, I'm good. You know, that was a fun game. Yeah, no wonder it's so rare, because nobody wants it.
That may have been a video game. Not sure though.
I'm not sure either. Oh, we got Real Sports Soccer again. Atari continued the Real Sports series with Real Sports Soccer.
Is Beat 'em and Beat 'em in this compilation?
Whereas the previous 2600 soccer games had depicted the players as blobs, the Real Sports version offered more realistic humans, designed by Michael Ciercio and Jerome Domerat. Original artwork from the cover of Soccer for the Atari 5200 console, which was quickly re-released as Real Sports Soccer, art by Steve Hendricks. What? Why is it saying play on that? I feel like that's a glitch. Oh. What? Hold on. They linked it. That should not have play on it. They linked the game twice. That's funny. Because I'm like, dude, that's supposed to be art. You don't play art. I mean, you can if you want, if you're like high enough, I suppose. Original artwork used on the cover of Real Sports Soccer for the Atari 5200 by artist Chris Kenyon. Real Sports Tennis was graphically impressive, even by the higher standards at the Real Sports series. Players entered their name on this on-screen scoreboard before the match began.
You don't play art? Sir, I was just playing Superman
Oh
64.
God, don't even... No, just no. The original artwork that appeared on the Real Sports Tennis cover by artist Terry Hoff. What? I get that's supposed to be a ball in motion, but that just looks like you have 3 tennis balls super glued to your racket. Real Sports Basketball, developed in 1982 and 1983.
Is he related to Jack Hoff?
What? I have no words, Stu. Would have been the 6th entry in the series, but was never officially released. This prototype version is considered to be complete. Alright, let's go into these crap-ass sports games, which are probably going to be sucky. Easy game mode, 5-minute game. Alright, soccer. Oh my god, could you possibly make the music any more obnoxious? What is going on here? What am I doing? Kick the ball. Okay, that was fun. I have no... First of all, I hate sports games. I'm not gonna lie. I fucking hate sports games. I can't stand them. So, to subject me to this crap and expect me, A, to know what I'm doing on an Atari game.
Crikey, what have they done to me football, mate?
To me football? Real Sports Tennis, platform 2600, release year 1983. Real Sports Tennis represents the first 2600 game where the player must enter their name before play begins. The gameplay is admirably fast, and the graphics are notably improved over other tennis games on the VCS. Okay, stop bouncing. Oh, am I playing now? No. Here we go. Hey, that's my name. Stop with the music, for the love of God. Oh, this is... Okay, this is fun. I'm not gonna lie. I like this. This is cool. This reminds me of the tennis minigame in GTA 5. It's the same thing. It even looks the same. I mean, I don't... Let me rephrase that. It looks the same as in... It looks the same... Not the same graphics, obviously, but the same style of game. Switching sides, alright. Serve your goddamn ball. You can't juke the other player, though. That's the only thing. You can't curve your ball. Which is... Oh, maybe you can. Alright. So you just have to... No, you can't curve your ball. It's just pure luck. Alright.
What color are you?
Blue. I am blue. 16 years later! Alright, well, we get the idea. That is fun. I do enjoy that, but I don't want to play that. I don't want to go too much into the 3-hour mark. I want to watch that one video, and then we're going to end the stream after the next video, which is the burying the things in the desert video. Real Sports Basketball. Blah, blah, blah. Real Sports Basketball. Platform Atari 2600. Unreleased prototype. Dabba-dee, dabba-die. Yeah. Announced in the early 1980s, Real Sports Basketball was never officially released. For a more arcade-style game, fouls can be ignored by setting the left difficulty switch to the B position. Yeah. Yeah, bro. How am I what? I'm beyond confused. Oh, am I red? Yes, I'm red. Alright, so... My side is... Get the... Oh, you bugger. Nope, that's my ball. Nope, maybe not. Oh, for
Why
Pete's
did
sake.
the chicken cross the basketball court?
To get shit on by the Atari stick figures. Okay. That was fun. So far, the only good one in there was tennis. The Crash. In 1983, the incredible momentum of the video game market in America came to a screeching halt. Sales plummeted.
Who heard the
Game
referee was
makers
blowing fouls?
Game makers lost millions. of dollars, and many went out of business entirely. In this video feature, Atari designers and players discuss the conditions that led to the crash. But that looks like people digging up... Okay. Well, let's watch this.
When you have a tragedy, and I do believe that the fall of the video game industry in the early 80s was a tragedy. It was a tragedy to many, many people. It changed a lot of lives.
I think it's pretty obvious when it comes to the video game crash that Atari didn't have control over the quality.
I mean, it needed some sort of way to keep just anybody from writing cartridges for it.
And so many people saw this video game gold rush, and they just, started dumping crap. I remember going into KB toy stores and just seeing, really bad box art and just really just terrible looking games. And that's when I started losing interest, and the market became flooded just with garbage. And it ultimately led to, of course, things like E.T. being, actually buried in the desert like garbage.
And what happened was that E.T. became the face of the crash of the video game industry.
We needed some way to keep just anybody, like me, from writing cartridges.
Greed and hubris, that's what undid Atari. If they just had worked more from a place of like focusing on making great games and delivering great games to the customer instead of like, how can we maximize revenue, I feel like they'd still be a huge powerhouse today.
Frankly, Warner did not understand technology. He didn't understand the consumer marketplace, the video game, and Ray Kassar, I think was afraid of releasing new product because it might not be as successful as VCS. So that's a sure way to fail.
I regret that we didn't have a new console by '84 that would have made it so that Atari continued to be a really viable business.
We never, ever got down to ever having any process by which we could come up with a better system.
Even to say, I think people do believe that, like, if they just released like the 5200 earlier, or if they released the 7800, or they had done different things, they would could never have they would have survived the crash a lot better, and they would be like a powerhouse today. Like as a kid, I didn't know much about business, but I just felt like something was wrong.
No one knew anything. Certainly, no one knew how to replace an existing console with a new one.
The real one-liner about why the game industry crashed and went away is that it was a first product life cycle and nobody knew what to do.
I mean, that kind of makes sense. All right. In September 1983, Atari disposed of several tons of unsold or unsellable video games in a landfill in Alamogordo, New Mexico. This tale, symbolic of the market crash, passed into urban legend. In 2014, a documentary crew excavated the games.
It doesn't really make sense if you compare it to the computer market.
So that is true then. So they did bury the fucking games in the desert. What a bunch of... I mean, come to think of it, now that I think about it, it's only E.T. the Extraterrestrial. That game's not worth jack shit because it's a pile of crap. So, I mean, nothing of value was truly lost, was it? The game was freaking terrible. Like, could you imagine marketing that game? That game was so stupid.
They buried other games too.
Yeah, but let's go back, because you and I have both played E.T. the Extraterrestrial on the Ataris too. Don't say that you haven't, because you probably have.
But why? I have no idea.
Could you imagine the marketing for E.T. the Extraterrestrial on the Atari 2600, or whatever the system was that it launched on? It'd be like, play as E.T.
I call it the extra testicle.
Yeah, play as E.T. and masturbate his head to make him fly. Because that's what you were doing. His head would go up and down. You were fucking masturbating E.T. to make him jump into the air and stuff like that. What the hell kind of a freaking... He didn't even... I don't remember the little kids masturbating E.T. to make him fly.
Getting that game. I'd have never played video games again.
You know, this brings up a good a good topic of discussion. It's a small one, but have either of you seen the Angry Video Game Nerd movie?
HSW made the game in 6 weeks.
So the Angry Video Game Nerd made a movie that went out in theaters. It was a Hollywood movie. The special effects were atrocious, but I think it was meant to be. I do own the movie. I do have it on
They
Blu-ray.
insisted it had to be ready for Christmas.
So the Angry Video Game Nerd movie is the story about how it's not Atari.
I went to the AVGN movie premiere in New York. I was terribly disappointed.
You didn't like the movie? I thought it was hilarious. Really? I figured you would have found it funny. I thought it was funny for what it was.
I've never seen anything AVGN, to be honest.
Oh, you should. You should watch his.
I thought it was shit.
You should look at his channel. Always Asleep.
Compared to his videos.
Well, no, of course, because it was entirely crowdfunded, dude. That movie was like, come on. You can't compare it to his videos. His videos, he was trying to be more Hollywood-ish. His videos are just reviews. Anyway, we're at 2 hours, 3 hours and 7 minutes, so I think we're going to end this stream right here. So thank you very much to Stu's Game Reviews and Always Asleep for tuning in tonight, and everybody else watching or watching after the fact.
Angry nerd. I go to Stu for that.
No, not. I mean, his anger, unlike Stu, his anger is phony. So when Stu gets angry at his game, he's actually angry and swearing and screaming and throwing a fit and smashing his keyboard and pounding his chest and going, "Me am Stu, game suck." Whereas the Angry Video Game Nerd, it's all acted.
Actually,
it's all scripted. It's all acted. And the Angry Video Game Nerd also has celebrities on his channel as well. So he had like. There was a few episodes where he had Gilbert Godfrey involved. He's had the kid from Home Alone. What's his name?
The real difference is that
Macaulay
I know something about games, and he knows less.
Macaulay Culkin was on one of his videos. They played, him and Macaulay Culkin played all of the Home Alone games on the various game systems back in the 80s and 90s. So that was a funny video because it was the first time Macaulay Culkin had ever played a Home Alone game. And he's just like, what is this crap? he's like, what the hell am I playing? Why is my name on why is my face on the cover? I wasn't paid for this. It was funny. Anyway, so thank you very much to Sue's Game Reviews.
I played Soft Porn Adventure with Al Lowe.
But Al Lowe didn't make Soft Porn Adventure though, so that doesn't make any sense. It would have made more sense if you played Leisure Suit Larry with Al Lowe. Al Lowe didn't make Soft Porn Adventure. That was made by, I can't remember his name right now, but it wasn't made by Al Lowe. That was the inspiration for Leisure Suit Larry. It was Al Lowe's inspiration for Leisure Suit Larry.
Yeah, you blew it once again, Stu. Macaulay Culkin didn't make the Home Alone games either.
No, Macaulay...
Benton. Chuck.
Check Benton. The check is in the mail, Benton. No, I know that Macaulay Culkin didn't make the Home Alone games, but he had no knowledge of their existence. Or at least he claimed he didn't in the video, because he had never played them, and he didn't like them. And not only didn't he like them, he didn't like that his face was associated with such shitty games. Anyway, thank you once again to everybody tuning in, everybody watching after the fact. It's always greatly appreciated. If you like what you see, consider liking and subscribing. I am sorry this video went into 3 hours. I didn't expect it to, but then Stu and Always Sleep joined, and I kind of wanted to keep it going a little bit longer so that I could experience some of the stream. So, but thank you everybody for tuning in. We will play some more of this.
Sorry.
Are you? I don't think so. I don't believe that. But so thank you everybody for tuning.
Fun. Take care, fellas.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll probably play some Diablo 4 tomorrow. Me, my roommate, and my friend, and I'll try to stream that. If not, we'll go back into the Atari collection and work our way through the rest of it within the next couple of days. because there is still quite a bit left. We're on Saboteur now.
We're stay until the job is done.
We're on Miner 2049er. That's a weird name. But so that's the next game we're going to be playing, and that looks like it was made in 1983. Interesting. That's a weird cover for an Atari game. Anyway, but yeah, so that's what we'll next do when we next play this. And then once we're done with the Atari collection, we're going to go back into our regular games, which is Brock the Investigator, Forspoken, and Hogwarts Legacy, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, thank you once again, everybody, for tuning in. Check out my playlist section for any of the missed content, any of the previous live streams, the Pirates of the Geek Vortex podcast, and some videos that I've done with Stu's Game Reviews. Check all that out in there, and I will see you soon at the Gamers Grotto. Take care once again, guys. Have a wonderful...
I have the Investigator poster that I want to send at the Gamers Grotto. But he won't give me his address.
I will give you my address, buddy. I just been busy, that's all. I don't actually have posters anywhere in my apartment. I'll be honest with you. I've never, ever since I was a kid, I was never into posters for some reason. It's weird. I was never into them. The only thing I have hanging on my wall is a Minecraft sword and a Star Trek The Next Generation Starfleet uniform. That's it. Aside from that, I don't have anything on my wall. My wall's barren. Anyway, that's it for me, guys.
Never mind. I'll shove it up my behind then.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying. I'm just telling you. I've never had posters. I mean, it's certainly cool. It's a good keepsake. I'm not saying that I don't want it. I'm just saying that I don't usually put up posters in my room. That's all. But yeah, no. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in, and I will see you guys soon. Take care. Have a wonderful night, and thank you once again, Stu, and Always Asleep, for tuning in. We'll see you soon.
I only hang posters of hot babes.
There you go. Playboy models. There we go. I had this... I shouldn't lie. I did have one poster as a kid. It was an X-Files poster. And it was creepy as fuck because it was like a poster of Mulder and Scully's face up close. And I swear to God, when I was sleeping at night, those eyes were just glaring at me of Mulder and Scully. And I'm just like, nah. I'm good. I don't need posters staring at me of Mulder and Scully as I'm trying to sleep. But yeah, Stu, are you going to be streaming anything? Are you going to be hopping into something here? If so, let us know so that we can head on over to your channel. You said that you found a game, or you got a game today. Maybe you're going to be streaming that.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? All right. Well, in that case, tune in to Stu's Game Reviews tomorrow at around whatever time he chooses to stream it. Usually around 12 or 1 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. Anyway, thank you once again, guys. Have a wonderful night. Talk to you soon. Take care.